Oh, no, I did it. All right.
We're live.
Did it change?
No, I just realized we would need one.
Welcome to the.
So we got this.
We only did that twice, so.
We're live whenever.
Welcome, everyone, to College Council, October 7th, 2025. My name is Tilly Chavez, and I'm the Vice President of Instruction and Acting President today. So do not bring me any issues because I don't have the solutions today. We are here for College Council today, and just want to remind us that this is our the highest level of shared governance on our campus. You're going to be hearing from the different representatives here on the campus. And if you have issues or ideas or presentations that you would like to bring to the college, please bring it forward to one of our representatives. I do want to go ahead and review our land acknowledgement. It's also on the front of your agendas. Quickly, the land acknowledgement to the Kumeyaay Nation. San Diego City College acknowledges that our campus sits on the traditional land of the Kumeyaay Nation. We recognize the Kumeyaay people, past and present, and their land with honor and gratitude. There is a longer version of that, and I do also want to acknowledge and thank Dean Robbie Ewell for helping in the creation of the land acknowledgement. So I'm going to go on for our roll call today. And Ricky Shabazz, we can put him as absent, but I have his proxy is Tilly Chavez. Mona, our President, Academic Senate. She might be on hold. We don't see Nick Slingman as our President-elect, Academic Senate. Again, I'm not going to repeat myself there. Robbie Ewell, Dean, Information and Learning Technology.
Present.
Cesar Gumapa, Public Information.
Present.
Daniel Gonzalez, Supervisory Representative.
Present.
Suno Badnish, President, Chairs Cabinet. Susan Murray, the long title of Dean, Institutional Effectiveness and Co-Chair of City Planning. I didn't know if she had a proxy today, but I think she was at a conference.
She didn't need a proxy.
Andy McNeil, Administrative Representative.
Present.
We have Dee Armstrong sitting in for Andy. Selena Martinez, President of Associated Student Government, ASG. Reese, we're here. John Parker, Vice President of Administrative Services.
Present.
Marciano Perez, Vice President of Student Services. I don't think he sent a proxy. If I'm not mistaken, he's in an EEO training. Oh, yes. Sean Ryan, President Classified Center.
Present.
Marco Anzudas, the Coordinator of Professional Learning Council.
Present.
And Lisa Velvoy, Ideas Representative. Thank you. Well, welcome everyone. And we'll be moving on. Agenda. If you have a moment, please review the September meeting minutes. We'll work through one of those if they're in your packets. Thank you, Tia, for preparing our packets for us. And I'll be looking for approval.
This is Sean, motion to approve.
Second.
I second.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Good man.
Move to approve those, minutes.
Discussion. Yeah.
Okay, we're good. We are going to do some celebrations here today, some congratulatory. We need to get some energy in the room. And you do. Our first word I read in number 3 is congratulations. I'm like, we can't just go on like that. So, Cynthia Dominguez was selected for the by Haku for the 25-26 Enlace mid-level leadership program. Do you want to, thank you, let's do the first one. So can you tell us a little bit, is this a year program? Is it, what is,
It's half a year, it's like a bunch of workshops online, but we started off in person at the end of this month. With the Haku annual conference, and then we have at the end of it, in April, I believe, we have the Capital Forum in DC, and that's where we can. But yeah, it's a lot of different workshops. It's mostly like kind of like management level programming, and we go over like organization and like higher education policies.
so was there a big selection process too?
I don't know how many applicants, but I know there's 37 of us program, and I think like 9 of us got scholarship for.
Very good, well, congratulations. Will you go back and keep us posted what you learned or how the process went? I'm not sure, I don't know, Cesar, if this is our first representatives for the hockey program. Okay, so
Not sure,
I'll be okay with you. Thank you, Roxanne. So it'd be nice to have you come back and tell us how it went. Yeah.
but.
Can you-
Congratulations.
You recently got a new role.
I did.
Oh, tell us about that.
I am gonna be working with Joseph Samna, the program manager. I start tomorrow.
Very good. Well, thank you. Congratulations. Did we have any other part, Tia, I'm looking at you, was there another plan for that or? Not sure.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay, don't be surprised if we tap you again.
Okay.
And you are always welcome to stay and enjoy the meeting, but if you have other things.
It's my last day. but it's-
Oh, okay,
I
so we
have
get
to
that.
have- yeah.
And that one. Congratulations. Yes, it's a good way to learn what else is happening and how our employees would have that upward mobility. Getting in the spirit and continuing with that motion, I had a little caffeine. We are recognition today. We have a recognition of service to our professional area.
Yeah.
And Marco, is this me turning it over to you?
Yeah, thank you. So I've almost been 2 years in this particular role,
Really?
almost January. Yeah, it seems like it's gone by quickly or sometimes feels longer, but that's not the point, right? What I'm here to do is recognize these are individuals that I've had an opportunity to work with really kind of informally outside of like our shared governance process and just working with the different constituent groups that I thought it would be helpful to periodically recognize because it is incredibly helpful for the professional learning that happens on campus for others, right? Because there's just one of me, for other individuals who are in the work or in the particular positions to advocate and help with ideas and or running events. And so these are the people that I wanted to just publicly recognize that it's not just professional learning and it's not just Marco doing it. There are all these people that make these things happen typically, right? And so I'll start with the people who couldn't be here today. So these were 2 faculty members and they get a nice little certificate here. Sarah Hawkins is in life sciences, faculty member, and then Oscar Preciado in English. They ran some of our faculty cohorts in equitable grading. For Sarah, and they co-ran equitable grading, and then Oscar also did one on AI for and we're really looking at ethics of AI and how it's changing instructional practices for our faculty members. And yes, they might get compensated for doing that, but just because we do, there's not a lot of hands that go up to do that because it's a lot of work to create the course content, deliver it, and work with our faculty members. So I wanted to recognize them. They couldn't be here today, but I'd like to recognize Sarah Hawkins and Oscar Preciado for helping us out with our faculty cohorts. This was last year. They ran these two different cohorts for us. Then these next two people are actually in the room today. And one of them, I don't think he knows that I think I forgot, but he's here. Sean, did I tell you you were getting one?
No.
Okay. Well, so Ira Marie Garcia and then Sean Ryan. I'll start with Ira. You know, over the summer, I was really impressed. Ira and Sean are both incredibly involved. They're in classified Senate, and they're incredibly involved when it comes to the professional learning for the classified professionals. And so Ira was able to, you know, she got in touch with, she helped create a financial wellness series by getting in touch with an individual over the summer. And I mean, she put that on. Everything that happened in the summer for that, it was incredibly successful. Probably one of our most successful ones in terms of attendance. There was like 30, 40 people from classified faculty showing up over the summer. And that's a big deal. The faculty is showing up over the summer, and what you're running is really important. So I wanted to recognize her efforts there, in particular that one, because she went ahead and organized that. And I did almost next to nothing other than you can have the center. Here it is, the space to do that. And so I wanted to recognize Ira for her contributions. And then Sean, I mean, it's similar. Sean is going to be a catch-all because he is a tireless advocate for the classified professionals and the Caring Campus Initiative for Classified Appreciation Week, always thinking about what we can offer. And he provides a lot of leadership in that respect. And so a lot of the things that I get to just kind of show up and where can I help in terms of supporting the classified professionals. And so I want to recognize Sean for his tireless effort because yes, he's classified Senate president, but he doesn't have to do that extra stuff, and he does. He takes a real interest in that. So, Sean, thank you very much. And then the last one, because Angel's on here, Angel's right here. And she said, don't say anything. I'll do it real brief. Angel has helped me a lot. She's done the all hands for the administrative professionals, and I've helped her work with that. She's been incredibly easy to work with and share ideas. So I just wanted to recognize Angel again, because she's going way outside what she really needs to do to support her colleagues. So thank you.
Did you all want to? Not I heard the middle.
No, since we have the floor, I want to recognize the classified Senate as a whole. Ira and I complement each other on the work that we do collectively. So we strive our best to provide professional learning that classified desire, want, and need, and we'll continue to do that.
Thank you for always bringing that lens. It's good for us. Congratulations, and Marco, thank you for providing those recognitions here. And what I will say is that we're always trying to strive to look for what people are doing, and sometimes I get caught up in certain spaces and I don't look up and then say thank you to people. So if there's some special thank yous, please send them also out there to your supervisors, to your vice presidents as well. Let them know, because you know we usually do some celebrations at the end of the year, and sometimes we just need that extra help of who's out there being busy. So let us know. Thank you and congratulations. And I want to recognize, because she did come in, our president of Academic Senate is Mona Alasaroni, and is here. And I wanted to make sure that you got credit for being in attendance. But you're also up next on the, if you're ready, on the agenda for resolution.
Okay, great, thank you. So part of our new Senate process is making sure that resolutions get read here at College Council, even if they're resolutions that will mostly be addressed at the district, just so everyone in College Council knows what we're doing in Senate and how it might eventually, hopefully, impact our campus here. So we passed two resolutions during our 9/22 meeting. They're in your packet, so I will spare you all of the whereas statements. The whereas statements, if you're not familiar with resolutions, that's the reasoning behind the resolution. So that's typically factual or evidence-based statements that support why we are asking for the results statement. So I encourage you, if you're not sure why we're doing this, to read the whereas statements on your own. But I'll go ahead and skip them. I'll start with the first one, which is related to childcare. So I'll skip to resolved statements on the second page. Resolved that the Academic Senate urges the college district to conduct a comprehensive equity review of current childcare policies and practices with a focus on identifying gaps and barriers to access for students and employees, particularly those from historically targeted communities. Resolved that this SDCCD prioritizes learning about successful mixed funding models utilized at other regional campuses and, if appropriate, developing a similar model for childcare services that prioritizes and recruits low-income students, all other students, and, if space remains, employees, while ensuring access for underserved campus communities. Resolved that the San Diego Community College District commits to increasing the availability of on-campus childcare services, aligning these services with the needs of our student and employee populations, and ensuring that they are adequately funded and staffed. Resolved that the SDCCD creates and collaborates with a work group including representatives from the academic senates, associated student governments, early education center staff, child development departments, student and employee parent groups, and other relevant interest groups to create a strategic plan that addresses these challenges and promotes accessible, equitable, inclusive, affordable, and high-quality campus childcare as a fundamental resource for our campus community. And finally, resolve that SDCCD prioritizes ongoing evaluation of and improvement of childcare services, ensure that they adapt to the changing needs of our students and employees, and actively work to support their academic and professional success and promote a racially conscious and inclusive environment for campus community. So this resolution has been a very, very long time coming. As most of you know, we do have childcare services on campus. We have a child development department and then a childcare center which serves as a lab for the department. But it is not accessible to all of our students and almost none, maybe none, or almost none of our employees. And so, you know, we've been looking at different ways to address this. And what we found is this is a district issue. This is not just a city college issue. And it's especially important as Mesa and Miramar are going to get new centers with the bond money. So we really want to make sure that as these new centers are built, like we have a new center, that they're prioritizing the students. You know, technically everyone is supposed to prioritize students, but somehow maybe in their advertising or something is going on and there are students who aren't served. So I'm really excited to work with the district on prioritizing this issue because student parents, primarily when they go to college, they go to community college. And the data here shows that nearly 75%, this is a statewide study, nearly 75% of student parents who enroll in community college programs do not succeed. And so that's huge, right? That's most of our student parents statewide are not succeeding. If any of you have children, you probably know that the number one support that you need when you have children is childcare. And so that's something that we can provide here on our campuses. So any questions about that?
I have a question. Is the childcare funded by federal funds?
Yeah.
Housing?
So it's funded in different ways, and all of our campuses are funded in different ways. So there's some federal funding, there's some state funding. Yes, and the college itself actually contributes very little, so it's mostly state and federal.
So how would that help our faculty since it's federally regulated? Because it's like on the call
Well, we,
guidance, you know?
yeah, we're currently required to prioritize students. And so what we're asking is, let's find out why some students are not served, right? And that could be, like I said, a variety of reasons. It could be that some students are not learning about the center. So yeah, we don't see a negative impact on faculty because we're just trying to make sure that it's more accessible for our students. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah.
You said this would be applied to the tuition.
Yes.
We know which date.
Yes. So it's the upcoming, the end of December. It's 10/30. Yeah.
Other comments or questions?
If you're interested, yes, we will hear it at the.
Informational only today, right? This is
Yeah.
informational.
Yeah, so there's no action needed. Again, this is just a new part of our process because typically the process is that the Senate president reads the resolutions at the board meetings, and then works with the chancellor and the board members to try to get these, the requests implemented. But sometimes we're missing our campus community in that discussion. So we just want to make sure that we're including everyone, and that if there is a campus ask, that everyone's aware of it.
So I do have a question, because I know how our center is run and those types of things, you know, we've sat with us before. But we do have an opportunity, because we've looked, and we did have some funding also that came to us from the foundation to have like an evening program. And it became so difficult because how we sit, like you can't use any of the furniture that's in there or anything the way it is. We would have to move everything at a certain time of day just to have a childcare center, like in the evening or something. But since we also have an opportunity with student housing coming up, I mean, there could be a potential that there is some space there and in the development that maybe something like that would be
For
created,
consideration.
right?
Yeah, I think it's an and, not an or. So I think we should be looking at making sure that our centers are serving our students primarily first and always. And then, and potentially looking at other options to serve more of our campus community. I know that there are people in this room who had children over the last few years and really struggled with childcare, employees, and that it would have been such a huge help, myself included, to have the option of on-site childcare. So it's an equity issue for women in general, parents in general, sorry. But it tends to negatively impact women when we don't have access to childcare. So I'm done with that whole situation. Luckily, my kids are older, but I know that other people behind me are going to have that same struggle because childcare continues to be an issue in San Diego. So I think it's definitely worthwhile to start looking at some possibilities. If there's no more questions, I'll go to the second one. So this resolution, also a long time coming, it kind of came on and off of our agenda for the past year. This was the first time it was voted on. You know, more research was done in the past year to improve the resolution. This is a resolution on surveillance technology at SDCC. But it is specifically focused on our campus because our campus has been looking at possibility of surveillance, installing additional surveillance technology. So I'll start with the resolve statements on the second page. Resolve that the San Diego City College Academic Senate opposes the installation of surveillance technologies on campus and calls for a reevaluation of safety measures that prioritizes community trust, inclusivity, and the responsible allocation of resources. Resolve that the SD City College Academic Senate urges the administration to engage students and faculty in open dialogue about alternative safety solutions that respect privacy and foster a safe, welcoming campus environment. And I know this is happening, so that's really exciting. I know Ricky started a work group to increase safety and community on campus, so that's exciting. Resolved that as SD City College creates a strong use policy, a guiding outline as to who is able to access any surveillance technology already installed on campuses in the district, which includes license plate readers, and clearly state how the data is being shared, how it's being stored, and how it's being used. So this resolve statement is directly relevant to technology we currently have on campus. We have license plate readers. You know, as you all know, we no longer need to purchase or to sign up for physical parking permits because we have license plate readers that the police can use to automatically scan your license plates. And this became an issue because in Chula Vista, the same technology was used and then the data was shared with immigration authorities. And this became a huge controversy in Chula Vista, and you know, and there's other cities where this is happening. And so this particular resolve is looking at making a policy based on what we currently have and looking at how we can make sure that the surveillance technology we currently have isn't going to be misused, especially right now, because that data is, we just need to be very careful with it. And I don't think our students understand what it means when they sign up for this, these, when they sign up for the parking permits. So I also think that part of this request should be having an alternative to the license plate reader, parking permit. So for example, I think last semester, people were allowed to go into the police department and actually get a physical parking permit. And I don't know if students are allowed to do that this semester and faculty. But there's still the option of getting a physical parking. They'll do it.
It's all electronic.
You can get physical work when you have to go down to actually county services down in Michigan Valley. You can't get that at this holiday.
Yeah, so it'd be great if that was made accessible on our campus. So that people who, especially, okay, great. So especially undocumented students can be made aware, like, even though we have this promise that we won't share this data, you know, if you are worried, you can, there's an option for an alternative parking permit. And then the last resolve is that SDCCD considers surveillance technology in the future and that they conduct a study that relies on scholarly research and privacy advocacy before authorizing said technology, and B, that an in-depth examination of the contract with the tech company and their use of data occur, and that this information is shared with all constituents, and C, a cost-benefit analysis should take place to ensure financial viability and trust. So this last result is building in the reality that surveillance technology might become a necessity to some constituents on campus, and if that is what's happening, that we want to make sure these three factors are taken into consideration, so that we're not just jumping into something because it feels right, and that everyone is aware of how much it's costing, how we think it's going to benefit our campus, and what the contract is going to look like as far as the where the data will go. And I also want to share that I know that a lot of people feel very strongly about having surveillance technology because of safety concerns, and that Ricky has shared that there are very specific areas of campus, like for example, the A building corridor, that he believes would especially benefit, or some people believe would especially benefit from surveillance. And this resolution doesn't mean that that the Senate is completely closed to that conversation ever. It just means that we want to be a part of that conversation. So, you know, if the administration says, okay, these are high traffic areas, or these are areas where we're seeing a lot of issues, you know, these buildings are being broken into, like the bookstore, you know, here's the cost benefit analysis of like what it would mean to get surveillance cameras on this, and here's why we think it's worthwhile. And so we would just be a part of that conversation. It would be more intentional, and we wouldn't be 100%. Any questions? Yeah.
Well, just two. One, I guess, in terms of what constitutes surveillance technology, was there any delineation about that during the conversation?
Well, mostly we're concerned with cameras, but you know, license plate readers are a form of surveillance technology, so that's why we mentioned that specifically. But mostly this is about cameras.
And cameras that are actively monitoring as opposed to just being stationed somewhere, or
Just
cameras
cameras in general.
again? Okay. And the second one is rather simple. And I know this has been a conversation for some time.
Yeah.
About cameras in the classroom. And I recall that
Right.
faculty were kind of like split. Some wanted it, some did not. And I know this may not, I guess my point is this is not filtering, it's not being conflated with that conversation.
Do you mean high flex classrooms, like
Yes.
a camera? So no, that is a separate issue, and
Good.
we did write a resolution on that. So that's actually a really good example, and I'm glad you brought that up. When Paul Alexander was president, the Senate wrote and passed a resolution about high flex, so that when a camera is in the classroom and it's on when the faculty member is conducting a high flex class, which is like a hybrid class. You know, there's, yes, like it is. And that technology was purchased, you know, during the pandemic, and was really, I think the feeling was that it was being pushed on a lot of campuses without knowing the effectiveness for students. And the resolution said something very similar, whereas like we don't want it in the classroom unless when we want some more research to be done. What happened with that is there were some faculty who said, even though this resolution passed, we need it in this classroom for this reason. And so it became one of those issues where, when there was a need, you know, it was brought to the Senate. And what we always said was that, you know, as long as the faculty are leading those conversations and they're comfortable with it, it's fine. Right, so we want to make sure that admin, no offense, isn't saying like, we think this is going to be good, regardless of the pedagogical implications, and we want this to happen. So there were still classrooms that had HyFlex cameras put in, and it was only because the faculty member felt like it was needed for teaching. And so something similar will happen with this. It just means that we want to be a part of those conversations. We generally oppose adding surveillance, especially right now. So I think it's important to mention that this conversation started last year, and there was a lot more controversy around it. People were very split. In the past few months, seeing how surveillance data is being used and people's fear around students being criminalized as a result has really shifted the conversation. So we went from not being sure how we feel as a Senate to almost everyone supporting this resolution, just because of the political climate. So a lot of people kind of said, like, not right now. Like, we're not comfortable with this in the near future with this current administration and with some of the scary ways that data could be used. And so that, I think that was the overarching feeling for a lot of people.
I just wanted to add, thank you, Mona. We have not moved on. I mentioned this when I visited yesterday, that the campus has not moved on a recommendation for a proposal. A third-party consultant, if you will, safety consultant regarding the cameras, additional cameras. I forget which college council it was, but it might have been spring or past fall, that would come to college council. So the administration has not, nor will ever, make a decision about that. That's go to the police advisory committee, the safety committee, your services, and ultimately college council and the district. So everyone will be apprised every step of the way. We haven't even moved forward yet with just saying, hey, we would like a consultant to come in and give us a proposal. That hasn't even been done. If we get to that point, it may come up again around construction, once we start getting fences up and getting some assets and some high value equipment on campus, that may be a discussion at that time, but as of today.
Any other questions? Well, thank you for bringing this information in as well. I know we're about ready to move into our annual campus safety updates.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I was just gonna ask if there was any other updates that we wanted to add so that we can leave all safe stuff.
Get it out of the way.
There yet? And I know there is one. I was gonna have if we can give you time and date of the event on Friday.
Oh, Friday, we're having our, is it really the second one or third one? Third one, our third annual Chicanex Latinx employee luncheon with the, and it's going to be here in the art building,
Library.
or in the library.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone knows, you just,
So I didn't know.
yeah, you're fine. I already talked, hey, don't worry.
So it's going to be in the library and it starts at 12 o'clock. And we hope to see everybody out that we did RSVPs to. That's just the general information. The contact for that is Marco, Adon, and me.
Thank you very much. I just thought I wanted to get that out.
Mhm.
Is it open to the whole
I know that's it.
12:30 to 2.
Yeah.
And then if I can, I'll just also share the last sheet in your packet is for you to take a look at the annual board meeting that we will be having here on October 30th. And we're still finalizing pretty much the agenda, but it should be a great time. It is the absolute best board of trustees meeting that is put on by the colleges. And I say that because I've gone to all of them and are still the best. I hope Miramar makes us listen to it. So, yes, we know. And so, it'll be a great one. I think it'll be a good time. So please come on out, and it's, still going to be, this is over, is it the Civil? Seville Theater, wow. I guess this is our way of saying goodbye to Seville. Probably. Okay, with that being said, John Parker, did I buy you enough time now to transition?
You bought us some time, you get set up.
All right.
Till,
We work well together.
all right, good afternoon,
Transition to our
everyone.
Annual campus safety update.
Annual campus safety update. This is the third or fourth one. This is very timely for us. We just last week released the annual security report. Hopefully we had an opportunity to check out some of the data in there. In addition to exploring our website, our safety website, a lot of wonderful resources, updates on training and enhancements initiatives that we have had in the last year or so since our last training. But first, before I turn it over to Jay and team, I just really want to thank all of our partners campus-wide. That includes the entire campus community. Every committee that I chair, we've received recommendations, and this is not just relegated to health safety services. We receive regularly and from students, primarily from students, recommendations and suggestions to improve and enhance our security on campus. So we rely on our campus community. Please inundate us with any ideas or suggestions you may have. We have an email that we created, I think it was within the last year anyhow, for safety initiatives and ideas that we feel. So please keep them coming. I'd like to thank Lieutenant Hughes and his team. I was part of the first time, was ALICE training, which I thought was very informative. I haven't taken it in the 5+ years that I've been here. So I encourage you, if you haven't yet, to request an ALICE training. Jay, John, Roxanne, Jim, your Night's Watch team, you guys keep that thing running. We're exploring, shouldn't say thing, that program running. We are exploring at this point an option for a day team. Don't know if it's possible, but we are looking into it based on a recommendation from our students. We just had CSER training. I know John is going to talk about that. Jay is going to talk about that. John will be giving us some statistics regarding safety and risk management. With that, I'll turn it over. Start with you, John Boyce.
All right, thank you. So I'm John Boyce, Occupational Environmental Health Safety Coordinator. And our safety update items are these 4 main ones: 2024 summary of work-related injuries and illnesses, the 2024 San Diego Fire Rescue all campus inspections that have been completed, and our safety improvements on campus and safety trainings on campus. So for 2024, our summary of work-related injuries and illnesses, this comes out every January. So up till now, this is the numbers we have, but they'll be updated around December for our January annual report to OSHA. Our annual average number of employees is 848. Total hours worked, 827,940 hours. That's a lot of hours. Total number of injuries out of those hours is 10. So total cases with days away from work were 2. And the total number of days away from work were 110 days of those 2 people. Total cases with job transfer or restrictions was 1. And the total number of days with job transfer or restrictions was 180. The total number of other recordable cases was 7. So all in all, that's low numbers for a operation, the campus as big as this and that many people. So I want to thank everyone for being safety conscious. Let's keep up good work. For 2024-25, our San Diego Fire Rescue all campus inspections by the San Diego Fire Department have been completed. We have updated all the emergency lock boxes with keys on all the buildings. So every building has an emergency lock box accessible by the fire department. If there is an emergency or fire, they go to that. They have a master key that opens that lockbox. In that lockbox are all the pertinent keys to get into that building. So that's how that works. And it wasn't correct, and now it's all been gone through with a fine tooth comb and it's all correct. All building state elevator inspections have also been completed and updated by the state elevator inspector's office here in San Diego. The EEC, Early Education Center, air quality has been tested and it's been tested as high level air quality, which means very good. And then the mold inspections have been tested as very low, so that's good news. The AH building, improved safety shelving has been installed, so all the shelves which originally had been just flat shelves now have a lip on the end of them, so nothing can roll off those shelves. So that was a good improvement for that building. Ongoing safety training on campus. We've got, as we discussed, ALICE trainings, Science Department, Financial Aid, Basic Needs have all requested and gone through their own ALICE trainings, which is really good because it's right in the area that people work. So you get trained not to go to some other place you're not familiar with. It's actual training, scenarios play out at your workplace, which is really effective. CSERT trainings. We have just completed another CSERT training program, a 3-day training, and there are 4 new certified first responders. CPR, AED, emergency first aid, student affairs, college police, classified open sign up, and student public forum have all been through the program and been trained on this. Finally, the SDCCD SAFE rollout is ongoing right now, so anyone can load it. I have both the LiveSafe app, which is expiring in March, and the SDCCD SAFE app, which is more common to what campuses around the country. It's very familiar looking, what comes up on your screen. Load it if you don't already have it. Search it up in your app store. It's free and hope everyone uses it. The fire extinguisher, choking, Heimlich, fire hazards and prevention, emergency procedures, student affairs, college police, small groups. All these different groups have availed themselves of training for all these different types of safety issues. So,
I don't know, if you had quite a few good questions or,
of course, yeah,
can you go back just one?
yes.
I just wanted to comment on the ALICE training that John had mentioned, the other John, I mentioned it earlier. This was my first time through an ALICE training as well. And I think, you know, we had, it was the VP suite and people in that that had training. I don't think any of us have been the same since that training. To be honest with you, you can open your eyes, you start to see things, I think, very differently all around you and everywhere you go. It was an eye opener. I've had a lot of different types of training, but that one was a very interesting one and recommend that everybody go through them.
Good. So Tilly, you mean you're not the same in a good way?
In a
In a
good
good
way.
way, yeah, more observant.
More, and I'm very observant already.
Yeah.
In fact, we went out that same day and we ordered a bunch of safety stuff on Amazon. It's just, we got 2 days later.
Excellent. That's
Yeah.
great. Thank you. Yes, Mona.
Can you tell us a little more about what ALICE training is?
The acronym. Then,
Alert, lockdown, and I don't remember the rest.
alert, lockdown.
And I have to cheat, look it up.
So it's an acronym for, in case the disaster happens, a shooter comes in, active shooter, even how to, whether to make the decision, whether to stay in place and barricade your door, or whether to run out. It identifies critical things you need to think of in that type of situation, that scenario. So it's really good, like they were saying, brings to mind things you normally don't think about. But it's great.
Especially in an office space where you don't really think about anything besides just how do you help for somebody? How do you help the next person? How to do it?
No, just thank you, Angela, for the save. She looked it up really quick. So it's inform, counter, and evacuate are the last 3. Thank you. So we got the first 2 right. I haven't revisited it since then.
I wonder if there's a way, and I know we started this conversation about a similar training, if we could compensate faculty, especially part-time faculty, who might have no idea what to do in case of an emergency, and don't, they're working at multiple institutions, so they're not even familiar with, anything safety-wise on our campus, to pay people to train them, because our faculty in the classroom aren't gonna be the first responders. And I think it's like a huge problem if we have like all of these faculty members in the classroom with students and something happens and no one knows what to do except a few administrators who might be totally good at building. So it's something that if there's a budget for paying faculty to train, to be trained, that would be really great.
Okay,
We'll note that.
thank you. See something, say something campaign is continuing. It's been effective to get the word out. The middle shows our talkaphone towers that are around campus. There's some self-standing, there's some mounted on doorways, on walls before the entrance doors of critical points. And the newest thing, I don't know if you know, that talkaphone has is they have one of these where you push the button for help and a copter goes out of the top of it, which can watch you and record it. We don't have any of those, but I'm just telling you, it's evolving, the state of technology.
So last year, this came to College Council, we talked about something, I'm sure some of you remember. The conversation was around the language of see something, say something. The last ASG president, I believe, was working on it with ASG. I think they even brainstormed some possible alternatives, because see something, say something is a phrase that was used to criminalize or implicate people, particularly Muslim, Arab Americans after 9/11. And I think even for our non-Arab Muslim students, like what they think when they see this is like snitch, right? And I know that's not what it is, right? I know that it means something that most of us agree with. But we talked about shifting the language so it means something that the students understand as like watching out for our community, as opposed to like just snitching on, people who are doing something wrong. And just a little shift in language could really change the way people take this. So I wonder if we can maybe work together to form a work group with ASG to find out like what kinds of names did the ASG work on last semester, and how can we shift that language?
Yeah,
That's a good point. I'd like to point out that safety first is at the top and the bottom of each of these advertising. So to keep people in mind that it's about safe.
Right.
and I do vaguely recall that, and I noted it to add it on that. Safe.
Keep moving.
And I just wanted to jump in on this one, because I have the slide here, so we do have material that you can take over. We have marketing material that we just received from the district after they sent out the notification last week. So this is a side-by-side with the SDT Safe app on the left, the images on the right there. And on the right is the current LiveSafe. So we do have both, as John mentioned, until March. LiveSafe will expire that contract. However, we will be phasing out any notifications within the next month or so. So probably end of November, we'll start phasing out LiveSafe, and then we'll just be using SDCCD Safe exclusively. Until then, we'll be pushing out notifications on both of them. So the arrows are just to really highlight the same functionality, just in different locations and different icons. In fact, the SDCCD Safe app has a lot more features on it. One of them I explained, I forget which meeting, that might have been manager's meeting. The safety call box, the blue light box, there is a button on the app. It's currently not on there, it's an add-on, but it does have that feature that acts similarly to the call box where you push the button and it stays on before an event will be being pursued or assaulted, that dispatch can send someone over and they'll know where you are. So just wanted to add that if you want to continue to it.
And just before that, we do have training coming for the new app.
Yes.
So we'll have a campus-wide training. I think it's scheduled in October. We're working on the flyer right now. We want to make sure we have all the literature from the district. But in that also, if you want personal training, John Boyce, if you just email John or myself, we'll actually come to your department to flashlight, send it, academic senate, whatever is needed, and we can provide individual training for both apps. But there will be a campus-wide training as soon as we have the literature open together.
Yes. All right, any questions? Yes, Marco.
Just a quick one, for the banners, for the see something, say something, are there ones that we could request that we could put up? Or for when we advertise that?
Well, you may have seen these already around campus.
Yeah, I was just thinking like if we wanted to put one in the lobby, we actually think we used to have one, and then I think it kind of got old.
I think we're gonna wait until we.
Yeah, well,
Oh, yeah, just when we changed the phrase, but.
Once we identify the new, whatever the new logo is gonna be, the new wording will be, then we can generate the new banner.
So I guess I'm just following up where you just said, how do you go about requesting those? You just,
So I'm sure we'll work with Caesar's department, get them made, and then it would just be, I would either email the safety, we have the safety email, or send myself.
okay.
Or John, or boys, too many jobs.
Too many jobs. Shame.
You can advance one more.
Billy? We have a question.
Yeah, for the see something, say something. Yeah. Campaign, is that, John said that this would be on the agenda of the health and safety committee or?
Agenda,
Okay, on the committee.
yes.
Oh.
And our campus police updates, Lieutenant Hughes, please.
Hello, my name is Lieutenant Jeff Hughes. I'm the lieutenant in charge of all the campuses south of the 8. My counterpart is Lieutenant Ken Nelson, in charge of everything north. As such, my office is located here at City College. Some of the initiatives we're working on, the district ambassador pilot program, affiliates with the student ambassador pilot program. It's aimed to leverage our students to help be partners in safety, providing escort services and things that like. Very close to the night program, accordingly, that as this gets rolled out, it's going to start with city and then hopefully build out onto the other campuses. We are working with HR now to get a job description, and then we can start working towards getting hiring and getting that staff. The other thing, Dr. Parker noticed that I was wearing a different shirt last time I saw him the other day. It's similar shirt to what I'm wearing. There was questions about how we can change or adapt our uniforms to the type of work that we're doing. The traditional police attire is very good for being recognized as a police officer and the authorities that go with it. However, as a community college police department, some of our community events don't really require us to be enforcing it. We're there as a community member, as a partner. So I'm working on getting more officers attire similar to what I'm wearing now. So I'm wearing a polo shirt, has the badge of the office on it. And this would be for if we're going to student fairs, attending meetings such as this. And you've also seen it taken the Alice, it's the same uniform that the officers that teach Alice wear. So that's where that's coming from. As far as hiring updates, we of course, like all agencies in California, we've had a difficulty maintaining full staffing, which resulted in some cuts to our staffing coverage. Presently, I have one officer trainee that's going to start the academy on Monday here at Miramar College. I have 4 officers that are they're called pre-service. That means they've passed an academy, but they don't have substantial experience. We are looking at hiring them through the background process. The background process takes about 6 months. It's very in-depth, as it should be. It's the only way that we can ensure that we're hiring good people. But we are hoping to get as many of them through and available to hire. When an officer passes the academy, which is 6 months long, and passes the hiring program, it takes at least another 4 months to get them out as a solo independent officer. That time is used to teach basics field work on how to conduct investigations, how to talk to people, and also how to fit into our community. The community college community is definitely different than the community surrounding us. We want to make sure that the officers understand that they're here to support students, to create a safe learning environment. Not necessarily the same motives that a municipal comp might have. Yes.
So the 4 months, you said they have 4 months of kind of training before they actually start the job once they're hired. Do they go through any kind of like implicit bias training or anti-racist training or anything like that? Like in faculty, we have to do a lot of training, unfortunately, around pedagogy. We have to try to, we're supposed to try to identify our bias. And I'm wondering if the police officers that you're hiring are going through.
Yes, so by statute, the police officers have an entire learning domain specific to implicit bias and harmful bias, as well as an ethics unit that focuses on procedural justice, transformational.
And then I'm curious about the ambassador services. So it's different than the Nation Watch.
It's very similar. Basically, the district is looking to create a similar model. We're working with City College on that specifically and how that's not going to overlap.
Okay, so we'll have ambassadors and Night Watch.
I don't know the specifics of how that's going to work, but it's,
I think I can help with that as well. Thank you. So it will be a supplement because the district student ambassador program will be district-wide, similar to CSOs. So they will be rotated amongst campuses. We did such a good job with our NICE program that this, you may recall, this was on the table last year, then it was off the table again. And then we did such a great job. It's back on the table again because we're the only one in the district that has a NICE or an ambassador or chaperone program, if you will. So it will supplement where NICE will be relegated just here to the campus, whereas the ambassadors will be district.
Okay, and then that they will be, their main job is to be welcoming students or people or employees.
Observe, report, and chaperone, correct.
Okay,
And just be visible.
that's great. Do they also go through some kind of implicit bias training?
They will endure a training at the campus level, which is similar to the current CSOs and or our police department. How they overlap, I'm not sure, but that will be a part of their thing.
And then I have one more question. So you said that the uniforms, this is going to be your uniform for attending certain events, but not for patrol. Okay, why the distinction? Because I know that there has been a call to change the uniform so students don't feel intimidated. But why was the decision not made to completely change uniforms, even while patrol?
so I did a pretty exhaustive study of the existing research on it. And it found that changing the uniform outside of what is normally recognized police uniform resulted in a higher use of force of officers on civilians as well as injuries to officers. What the reports were getting out to as far as causation was that the officers weren't being recognized as police officers. What really stood out to me while I was doing this research was I was calling around to different institutions and inquiring about them. And I started receiving calls from institutions back east that had tried this and have since switched back because they found the results. It didn't have the intended results.
Can you share that with me? Because I know that there will be questions about this.
So, any other questions for Lieutenant Hugh?
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Sure.
So the next piece, we're gonna kind of go over essentially we call site improvements. There's safety enhancements, improvements that we're working on throughout the campus. So there's essentially backflow systems. There'll be some pictures that will follow. I'll just go through these real quick. Essentially, each building has a backflow, fire backflow, and then domestic water backflow. And what's been happening is the fire backflow has been essentially the way that they're built. They weren't secure, so everybody needed the showers essentially. So the facilities team came through to build a lockout system and new signage for all the backflows throughout the campus, which pretty much nullified the nuisance. Because what happens is they would get used as a shower and they would turn the water off. So essentially the water would be running down the street. Particularly like the corner of BT, the S building, They created also created hazard students. So we took care of that. Also, in particular around the A building, we removed, you'll notice the A building on the east side, there used to be vending machines in a code by the DSPS office. Well, we just rolled out the new vending company. We actually eliminated those units because they were just constantly getting broken into. So we made the decision to not replace those. So that's based, there's going to be some gates, some other things built of that area.
And the vending closest machines are still in the cafeteria.
Yes, and they're actually we're working with Patty. She's making the signage for the so that everybody knows that vending machine is moving cafeteria.
Or in the tea.
Or in the C, yes. Or in the L building,
Or in the
now.
L.
There's actually some in the L building too.
And yes, so
And it's,
they're inside, security.
They are still
For
there.
safety.
if you need to
they're
know where they
inside.
are, let me know.
The library.
In the library, yes.
He's on the campus, man.
Public vending now. And in that though, we had all these, unfortunately, when we did our SNN out build in our TIs, they put electrical outlets everywhere. So we pretty much in the A and the D area, we've eliminated them. We're in the process of eliminating them. Because they were creating a nuisance. With folks hanging out using it and just getting in trouble. We've also updated campus wide. We replaced all the AEDs. There are now the Philips 55 units or smaller, more easy to use compact units. So every single one on campus has been replaced. We took care of that this year. Anybody is, I'm sure people that are in the S building, we were having issues with folks getting into the dumpsters and getting into trouble behind the dumpsters. So that we just finished essentially enhancing the dumpster enclosure. It now has basically a roof. You can walk it from the inside. And it has a lock gate on it, so it kind of took care of that problem. And I'm sure the people in the R building, the LRC, we just did a massive gate and lighting enhancement on basically all around the lower level LRC, lower level elevators, mechanical room, the kind of areas that people are hanging out are now fenced and you can lock them. And then we also ran additional lighting on the north side of the R building and all the way around this level actually. So it's enhanced the safety of this area because it was kind of a dark area. Things that we're working on. We're also we have a massive lighting project going on. We have some additional external lighting for Seville Theater. We're also working on, because as of right now, the Seville Theater itself does not have intrusion system. So pretty much you can walk into the theater and nobody will know you're there. We actually had somebody living in the theater, a resident there. So you can arm the north end of it where Wayne Gardella's prop shop is, but you cannot arm the theater. So we are working on that. I know we're dealing with the building, but it's actually become a reoccurring problem. So we're going to be adding an intrusion system. We're adding lighting. Also in the Garfield parking, we're adding additional lighting to level faculty parking, level 1, student parking, level 2. And this is all part of we actually did a lighting survey walk that we do at night, where we actually walk the campus and identify areas. And really, anybody that's here at night, if you notice any areas that are dark, you can email myself, you can email John, and we definitely typically hear you and we put it on the list. A building gate enhancements, that's essentially where the old vending machine was. And then also in the corner by A101, there's kind of like it's just the way the building was designed. When they put the new elevator, there's a cove. It's kind of a blind cove. So we're gonna put some nice decorative fencing in there. And we're trying not to create, make it offensive. It's gonna be more decorative than what we're used to. So it'll be real nice to enhance that area for the safety. Same thing with the exterior outlets. We're working on the A's. A and the D is all pretty much done. EEC, we took care of that. Exterior lighting projects. So these 3 projects, the Harry West Gym, the tennis courts, and the surrounding area has actually been bundled with part of the H&H projects that are happening up there with the Seeds Garden. We're kind of enhancing the greenhouse. That area up there, everybody's been up there. But in that also, there's basically a chain link fence that runs from the corner that's northwest corner of the tennis courts and runs all the way to the backside of the Harry West Gym. It's constantly being cut. folks are getting in there and causing damage to the greenhouse and the seeds area. So what the district and the campus is doing, we're actually pulling that entire length of fence out, and they're putting in decorative wrought iron. So essentially you won't be able to cut the wrought iron. So they're putting a whole new fence back there, wrought iron fence. There'll be a security gate, and then they're adding additional lighting to basically the tennis courts, the volleyball courts that are being drawn right now. So that's a whole, essentially, this is all wrapped into that. So, yes, ma'am.
I just want to say that's a really great solution. Just better fencing, better lighting instead of, some other more intrusive solutions. And I just appreciate that we're thinking about different ways to protect the campus that aren't friends.
Well, we're definitely sensitive and want the students to feel welcome, and we don't want to feel like some kind of way, like, threatened or anything like that. And we do put a lot of thought in, and we're like, especially these safety things that come in, and Ricky's really like having about one. He just wants to throw up another fence, right? It's just, because to me, it's another barrier, right? We're trying to make it nice, and then Parker, Roxanne, and myself, we do basically a night on it. Actually, it's next week or two, we will walk the
So you
campus.
mean you can dance winner Joshua Allen?
Oh, that's me. I'm here to dance, Steve.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's
I would like to add real quick that did come from the students, that recommendation, and that initially was not in phase one. It was escalated one due to, it was a health and safety issue. And we did have funds from the interest that we earned on the bonds, and there's a contingency also for capital. So that was escalated with that it was approved, what, the last board meeting, 250. Well, yes. Yeah.
So that's forthcoming. So we're definitely mindful of, and honestly, and this is how we find out, like we do our own stuff, but academic senate, classified senate, student forums, health and safety, youth service, all these different panels that we have in the forum. But honestly, we get a lot of feedback, and then we also do our own walks and stuff.
It's a distance issue. Well, we need to be closer.
Just covered.
Right. Stay here.
Hey, Daniel.
Yes, you can operate it back. Check out.
Okay.
Okay, it was advancing, it's just zoomed up a little, just like.
So look at us down first.
Yeah.
So these are some of these, they're basically CPSIs that we're working. Nice Watch Fall 2025 details. It's scheduled to start November 3rd and will run till December 22nd. I don't have a pointer, but it's Monday through Thursday, 6 to 10:30. Friday, 3:30 to 6 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4:30. They basically follow the district calendar. We're not here on holidays or during the November break. The biggest thing is we want to make sure we try and 90% students is the goal. It's a mixture of students, private assistants. I don't know what FSAW is, John. What is it? Federal Work Studies, apologies. Classified and SPAL. We have a forum scheduled for the 15th, but I might have to change that because that is actually the Great Shakeout. Is right, the 15th? Or 17th? So essentially at the forum, I didn't make it big enough, but the campus police will come in. We're actually working on revising the training with Dr. Parker and Lieutenant Hughes to include essentially what you were talking about, Mona. And this is where we invite everybody to come. We kind of let everybody know what, you know, what we're gonna do, what to expect. It's a lot of walking. And I did bring one. Essentially, this is the uniform. And everybody will have, I don't have, so essentially have this. We have some being made right now. And it's gonna have a nice wash logo here. And on the back, we'll have a big, to really indicate the other, because a lot of times people say, are you guys construction workers or are you nice ones? So, but this will be the uniform. Everybody has a whistle and then everybody has a flashlight.
And they're highly visible as well. You were mentioning, I think previously, that we'll do an evening walk.
Correct.
About every.
We do an evening walk prior to the launch.
Exactly. And these guys, they walk all the way from the north end of athletics to the B building and everywhere in between in teams with the team lead.
So in that's why I brought, so this is Stephen Devers and Ginger Broussard. They are I call them the OK, not OG, but OK, the original Knights. So they were part of they're part of the first cohort that we rolled out after COVID. And I actually brought them here to speak to what they, you know, what the services that they provided, what the experience, and really how it give us, just to kind of give you guys, you all a preview, a kind of a look into, because they can better speak to it than I can, because they did it every night. So Steve?
Yeah, so basically we met over here either at originally it was up in facilities office. As the program progressed, we started meeting down to business services, but everybody would reconvene, they'll sign in, make sure we all got our tools, we got our whistles, we got our vests, we got our flashlights, and we would start patrolling the campus. So we would start up, you know, work our way up, all the way up to athletics, as John stated, we would work all the way back campus, and we will walk everywhere, trust me. I made sure that we walked everywhere. Every stairwell, we didn't take no elevators. We walked every stairwell, we walked all throughout the parking garages, parking structures. Ginger can attest to this, John as well. He spent some time on the Night's Watch, walking around with us.
Every level,
every stairway, we walked it all. The campus, inside the buildings, outside the buildings, every floor. We greeted folks, we talked to people. We let them know why we're here, what we're doing. We made them aware of the Live Safe Act. If people were unaware of it, we sat down, talked to them, showed them how to access it on their phones, and let them know the functionality of it, what it did when you hit this button, you know, and you let them know that you didn't have to identify yourself on there. You can put it in as anonymous, and then you'll get the same response. And by the way, those Live Safe apps are very responsive. They respond quite efficiently and quickly. You know, it's a couple of minutes, we get an officer showing up, and you know they're right there on task and on point. So shouts out to your team, Lieutenant Hughes. They are very responsive with the limited amount of staff that they have. They really got the job done. So that was helpful. We stood around greeting students as well as our faculty at night, in particular, leaving the class around 9 o'clock, it could get pretty scary. So, you know, we like to hang around the areas that we know that students and staff are going to be leaving. Typically, is down in the AH lower area, and that's a good area because you can get the students coming from the MS, the few that are still left in the B building that come there, and also the ones that come from the AH and throughout the interior of the campus. They all kind of come out, funnel throughout those ways because those are the areas that they park at, you know, and a lot of them park on the street as well. And in that area, you can kind of see, you don't want to necessarily shadow these people, but you can have a line of sight to where they're going and just kind of let them know. And they reach out to the officers if they do need escorts or whatnot, and they're readily available as well. And also over here in the S building, parking structure leading to the Garfield area, that's another way station that we like to meet because we can get the students coming from T building, the A building, students and staff coming from the T building, A building, as well as the S building. and they all kind of funnel toward that way, towards either the Garfield, parking structure or down towards 16th Street and that area where they kind of park on this bridge sometimes, or down in the, in building parking structure MS. So those are kind of the way stations where we get a lot of traffic coming through. And the response that we got, it was very helpful for the students and staff. I mean, they let us know immediately, well, hey, it really feels good to have you guys out here, have a presence out, even if, we can't necessarily shadow them everywhere they go. It's good that they're seeing us and we're visible and we can see them and watch them go to their cars or whatnot, and make sure they, even if you can't follow them, we, ensure that they have a buddy, maybe whether it's a class member or staff walking with them to their, cars or wherever they're getting their ride, pickups, Ubers or whatnot. So it's very helpful. And also we did even happen to have some issues where, there were contact with staff and students with unhoused individuals or just people in general, causing safety issues, and we were able to be that first contact there to contact the officers or contact the staff and let them know that, hey, it's a safe space over here. You can come over here and group with us until your ride comes or whatever. So it was very helpful, I feel, and the response that I got from the staff and students was that, our presence was very helpful being out there. So I mean, we really do canvass the whole campus, and our numbers aren't always the same every night. Sometimes we have a fleet of folks where it's up to maybe 7, 8 guys, sometimes, or guys and women. Sometimes it's down to 2 or 3 of us, but we still canvass the same areas. We still continue to have the buddy system where nobody's patrolling alone, and we still make sure we have our whistles, vests, flashlights, and all that. So I feel the program's quite successful. We canvass a wide area all over campus. So it's very helpful.
Thanks, Jenna, do you want to add that?
No, he hit them.
Questions, Mona?
That was a really good style. I have also observed it and, I'm a big fan of the Night's Watch. As a former community college student who only took classes at night, I just remember how scary it was walking to my car. And as a young woman, I always had to make friends, and I always tried to make, excuse the gender reference, but male friends who I felt were safer to walk me to my car. And it would have been nice to have someone like Night's Watch so that I didn't have to rely on other people's kindness. So really appreciate it. And I would love for you all to come to the Academic Senate to share what you just shared, and also show people how, I'm curious, is there a relationship between the app, the STCCD Safe app and the Night's Watch, or does that go directly to the police?
It goes directly to the police officers.
Okay.
We're just basically making people aware of the app and how it functions and that it's available for them to use. And also I want to add that our group is very diverse. It's not just, like Jay said, we got students, we've got staff, we've got classified members. So it was a bit of everybody in the mix that was out helping the community. So.
And so when you request an escort, it's a police officer, not a Night's Watch.
No, and yeah, officer will show up for the escort. We're there to kind of be the liaison for that. So hey, I need an escort. All right, cool. We can either call the officer or we can call them for you, and they'll readily,
But if we're there, if I'm standing talking to you and you're asking me to walk me to your
Yeah.
car, they definitely provide that service. And also, if the service is called for, the chaperone service is called for, it initially goes to campus police. But if they're tied up on a call or somewhere else, then they'll notify the Night's Watch team, and then they'll go.
Okay.
And also in that, adding to what Jay is saying, they're in the act, if we did happen to escort some, we communicate with the officers like, hey, we're over here at lot 3 escorting these few individuals to their class, to their cars, and let them know exactly what we're doing as well, so they are aware that escort is taking place.
That's great. Yeah, I also would love for Academic Senate to learn more about the app. I try to teach my students that it's their role in campus safety without saying see something, say something. But for example, when we're walking from the classroom to the library, and they see something that seems a little scary, right? Like an unhoused person that's yelling. And, you know, and we've had conversations about that, and I think what they really need to know is that, like, is you don't have to wait until things escalate to the point where someone's like waving a weapon around. Like, if you feel uncomfortable with something, just say something so we can get some eyes on it, right? So someone can just say, okay, this is happening, no one's breaking any laws, because I do always let my students know that we are a public institution and we can't bar anyone from entering our buildings unless they're a safety hazard, which I think is super important, but just like, if we could work on framing the app as a way for all of us to kind of be responsible for noticing things before they escalate, not just reporting a crime, right? Instead of that proactive attitude, I think will really help us.
Well, I agree, like, I can email you and coordinate training with Night Watch, and I can also bring John Boy, so we can actually go over the SD app and the Live Safe app. And that's like Lieutenant Hughes talked about in training, a lot of times, you know, because some people don't feel comfortable calling the police or calling, you know, but a lot of times that one call just to notify them to let somebody know, hey, there's an issue here, or somebody's unconscious, whatever it is. Just like you were saying, that, you know, I'll leave on that end on that is, it just, now we notified somebody and then we can carry on with the day. So, but it's, I mean, and I encourage you, if you want to come to the forum, you can come and you know, we'll talk. This will, and John confirmed shakeouts on the 16th. So we have the great shakeout on the 16th, or those is the official earthquake in California.
Yeah, and it's international. It's on 10/16 at 10:16 a.m.
So we will be we'll be mobilizing the CSER team. There's a whole police drill we do with radios. And we actually have training with the CSER team where we do, it's called cribbing. We build tables and chairs where we stick somebody under it to rescue them. We do CPR. We have a whole day schedule. Any other questions about Night Watch?
I just want to say that I appreciate Night Watch because they come get me out of my home.
To make you home. And Roxanne.
They do make me laugh.
Yeah.
Definitely want to make sure people go where they need to be safe.
Right. So these are some of the more, these, I already kind of spoke to these. We did the comprehensive, we added the exterior lighting, interior, exterior, we did the fencing. We've added some over in the S building, and you've probably noticed it on the E building as you walk up to the president's office, there's some basically asphalt strips of tape. We did the AEDs, we cleared a bunch of gardening. Steve Seaman has done a massive job of cleaning out areas that are overgrown where people were living and stuff. Emergency blue box light, we're actually adding one right outside this window to the right. There'll be a blue box added there, and we're also adding one in lot 8. The goal is for it to be line of sight. So essentially anywhere you go on campus, you'd be able to see a blue light emergency call box. And this is what we were speaking about in October. We have our executive walk where we go and identify areas that could be potential issues. These are some of the photos. This is the ET building, 16th and B. This is what they basically built this cage for us. You had this wall here and folks were living in here. Essentially, this was a restroom and a shower. So we built a cage, we locked it out. These are just some signage stuff that we had to correct. More signage. This is actually behind the CTC building. 17th Street was pretty much, it was everybody was kind of living behind the V building. So Caltrans came in and essentially added rocks and these kinds of things to deter living behind the V building. And this was a walk that Liddy did for the S building, adding signage for her. Because folks were getting on the roof of the S building and the BT building. Same thing here. This is the greenhouse on the T building. It is medicinal signage. There's actually some bars that were added here. Because folks were basically prying the door open and living on the roof. More signage. This is just our certificate for the S building. And this is the backflows we were talking about. These are the devices that the facilities team built. So essentially you can't access the water on it anymore. This is the crosswalk enhancement that was done over by the S building. They basically repainted it. They put additional signage on the street, or language, excuse me. And then they're adding new signs here, and they're adding some signs over here. This is the, gas fired generator,
Fuel cell?
fuel cell, excuse me. That, they put, thanks to John Boyce, they put, actually, they put a fence around it, because it didn't have a fence around it. This is kind of some of the stuff that was inside that was exposed before the fixing. CSERT training, we just finished our fall CSERT training. We graduated 4 CSERT team members. So this year in January, we had 1 too. So now we have 17 more folks added to the 25 that we already have. So we will have additional training in the spring. So I mean, there'll be a flyer goes out to the campus. If you have time, it's 3 days. I know it's a commitment. We're all busy. Trust me, I know we're all busy. But this is something, you know, the campus wanted. We invested the money in it, and we offer it twice a year now. It's great training. Iro's in it. She'll tell you, you get to put a fire out. You learn how to, I mean, just for a personal.
But you get to set it.
Yeah, no.
People on campus do that.
No, unfortunately not. But you learn, you get CPR certified. There's very comprehensive first aid, fire life safety. So it is great training. And then you can be part of our team when we actually, and does everybody know what CSERT is? Especially campus communities emergency response team. So essentially, if we had an emergency, like we had that earthquake, I don't know, 6 months ago, we would be the team that would respond. Like if it was real serious, like a building came down or something like that. You're doing search and rescue, you're doing first aid, there's command and control. So there's all these different levels. It's actually a lot of fun. Plus, it gives you, when you actually go through this class, you really think about, am I ready at home? Because they talk about a lot of that stuff, like being prepared at home, because we really don't, I mean, I'm not, right? Because we just become complacent. But anyway, we'll have another training in spring. Yes, ma'am.
Can we have a training in the summer
Sure,
for faculty who can't do 3 days during the week?
sure. I can actually,
The only thing I would recommend, not about the faculty of anyone, because I realize you said that we had one recently, and how many people attended?
so we had 16 that signed up, we only had 4 show.
So I wish we could find some way to make sure that maybe their supervisors or someone give the sign off and they're already ready, so that, you know what I'm saying, that we continue to do it, because it costs money to do this.
Sure.
And I think we need to make a big commitment at campus to do that. And I'm just thinking the same thing with that Kumon, is we could have them summer, because I'm the one asked for summer before too, and I haven't made the time to go.
So when you say summer month, what month do you think would be the best?
Like, I probably June.
June?
We
To
took
try it.
over and
No, we should.
we paid for 60. We had 32 sign up and only 21 showed. We had to pay the instructor $8,000 for all. And that was 2 years ago, which is why we moved away from that.
So we can work on some dates.
We can do the commitment.
I like the commitment idea too.
So I mean, as we get closer, I'll come to college council again and we can talk about it. I can email you and we can work, because honestly, I would love to tap that, because they're gonna be first responders like the students, right?
Just connect with me and we can plan.
Okay.
Yeah, and also I wanted to share, I have some ideas that we can get classified support for the next one.
Okay. Awesome. Any questions about CSERT or move on?
Just a reminder, we're at our time, so if you have questions, we can email people afterwards.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
So these are just some photos of the CSERT training. There's Ira.
There's our.
He fixed a broken leg.
No,
There they are putting the fire out. So this is kind of goes over what we already talked about. The service is actually offered, it is offered every single day, right? So that if you don't know, campus police provides the service, whether nights watches here. And these are the hours, the days that they're available, and then basically how to request the service. Sorry, that was it. Thank you.
All right, guys, I know we're at time, but Angele is going to provide an overview.
It's a lot of information.
It's a lot of information, great information. If you could stick around for another few minutes. And we'll talk about mental health counseling resources and the rest.
Hi, I know I'm gonna go through 15 minutes, hopefully in 2, so we can see how that works out. For those, these are resources for staff, faculty, and students. So, on behalf of Leslie Easton and Mental Health Services, I'm presenting her, PowerPoint slides. So safety begins with you, of course, and we need you to be at your best. So we have, they're offering time to take out, what do you do for your routine to carve out your well-being, and don't wait until you actually need those services. You know, planned and exercise, music, movies, reading, pets, etc. We also have the Headspace app. MHCC has paid for premium subscription now, available for faculty and staff free. So if you want to sign up for Headspace, please reach out to Mental Health Services and they'll give you that information. So also, when you see that it's like, see something, say something, when you see something that's going on and your emotions are involved in it, to practice emotional regulation, which is basically a pause, you know, instead of having a knee-jerk reaction, establish your regulation, just kind of like stop, observe, okay, how am I going to react to this without knee-jerk reaction? So choosing not to say something, walking out, or taking a deep breath, and just slowing down. ER also allows you to support your nervous system and change the way your brain responds to different situations. So notice those signs of de-escalation. So if you see something that's going on, and you're nervous and you're anxious, you see somebody is crying or depressed, you want to be present in that moment, right? You want to be prepared to de-escalate that situation. So be an active listener, demonstrate care at the moment, validate and acknowledge their lived experience that they're going through at that time. If needed, explain the policy around supporting them. Collaborate problem solving and linkage resources such as mental health or DSPS if you have them available at that time, and engage colleagues to ensure safety, monitor interaction, and call police as needed. So training and resources, we have VAR, which is validate, appreciate, and refer. And what is it? There is a Clovis College upload files for that information about that. They also have a toolkit, and we also have Headspace for faculty and staff. And you use your SDCCD EDU email. So we also have the employee assistance program. We have up to 5 confidential in-person virtual counseling sessions per incident concerning or matter. Services are also available to household dependent family members. And then if eligible, call the following numbers, and help is available 7 days a week, 24/7. And so that just gives you that information as well. We also have Timely Care. This was offered out at our last safety meeting. We didn't really know about this, but this is a really good app too as well. And again, students use their student email to enroll in this. So that segues into some knowledge that some people didn't really know about the red zone effect. It's not about football. It's actually about an event that happens during fall and semester up to Thanksgiving. And I just presented this at the last safety committee meeting, and they wanted me to bring it forward just to share out the information. So what is the red zone? It's a period between the first weeks of fall semester between August and November, when students are most likely at the risk of sexual assault. And the key statistics as of 2025 is 26.4 women, 6.8 men, 18.1% trans non-binary, 50% assaults occur during the red zone, and only 90% go unreported. So why does this, so I want to say, why does this period matter? It matters because this is a time when we have to recognize the different things that are happening to our students, right? So it falls into the consent in California law. What is that? That's an affirmation consent, specifically made in California, that yes means yes and no means no. So voluntary, informed, mutual, ongoing during the activity, consent must be yes. Silence or lack of resistance equals non-consent. That's if you're under the influence of drugs or alcohol, asleep, and somebody assaults you, that means you did not consent to that. This applies to all students in higher education in California. And AB 967 expands the protections and strengths, you know, for our campus responsibilities.
So why does it matter? So you have new students adjusting to campus life, to college life. Students will attend events. They will experiment with alcohol and drugs. Many of these students are going to be transferring to these four-year colleges where they're attending these events. And so early awareness and education can protect our students now and in the future. So we always say you belong here, but we always want to mean, and I'm sure that encompasses you are safe here as well. So we need to have a call to action. Share your resources. We have the mental health counseling. We have Title IX at the district. We also have hotlines available as well. So support prevention and workshop, bystander trainings, and awareness campaigns will help the reporting percentage go down from 90% to hopefully just like nothing. So the red zone is real and awareness saves lives. I've also handed out the Red Zone Event College resources. And that just tells you what we have here at city, your district, your community, as well as national resources. And I want to preface the numbers that I got were from RAIN, which is the Rape, Abuse, Incest National Network, the U.S. Department of Justice. And also I got that from the AAU Campus Climate Survey as of 2025. So hopefully.
Good job, thank you. Any questions for Angele on the red zone? And I thank you because this was a last minute request and you have presented it to us and I said, oh, we need this. You had like a 2-day notice. So
Right.
thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
Any questions as we wrap up here? I have no questions, comments for red zone. Thank you. Just really want to, because we're over time, our Health and Safety Committee meets the first Thursday of each month at 10 a.m. Please feel free to stop in as a guest. We can, it is via Zoom, so you can do it virtually from your office. You can multitask. It hasn't been in person actually since the epidemic.
You're encouraging people to not pay attention.
Say again? No, well, I'm encouraging them to attend, but good point. I'm encouraging them to attend, wherever they are.
Right.
And multitask, as we all do, in most instances anyhow. But the Health and Safety Committee, we make recommendations, advise the college departments from all constituencies are represented on the committee. We are reviewing our charge and our guidelines, and we do have a website that we just updated here. Please visit our website. I'm sorry for the small font, but there is a lot on our webpage. There's a video on there, SDCCD Safe link, and their training, what is it, Emergency Operation Training Manual, the OSHA manual, all of our manuals in the lower right. If you have time, please send us, email us your suggestion, guys. We need your participation. And with that, if there are no questions, I think we're done. Thank you all. Safety starts with you, and we take it very seriously. So we're open to it. Steve? Sorry.
Oh, no,
I'm sorry,
no,
like
no,
No, like you had your hand
I'll
up.
be charged.
Thank you all.
With that, thank you all for staying and be safe.